Good morning, preppers. Happy Saturday. I hope your prepping is going well because time is short. It's already flipped over. Time is already running out. Because when it comes to prepping, when it comes to preparedness, especially when we talk about food preparedness, which is pretty much on the top of most people's list, we are heading for, in my opinion, a world of hurt this fall. Between the diesel prices and the train problems, between shipping problems, between fertilizer not being available to farmers. I've heard from many farmers that they're getting maybe a quarter of their typical produce that's coming in. And when we actually talk about providing food for this huge, great country of ours, not to mention the world, we have to be able to make sure the food keeps coming in. Because if not, of course, you'll end up with shortages and even more grocery inflation, which we're already seeing. And since we've had all these things cascading throughout the summer, this fall is not looking good when it comes to produce. Okay, now up here in Michigan, we're already experiencing some amazing cold weather. We're such Michiganians up here. We love it. And in the morning I get up and I've almost thought about starting a fire in my wood stove, but at least I put a sweater on and some sweatpants. And apparently the days of wearing shorts may be limited. And because I'm a short kind of guy when I'm outside. And in the evening when I go to bed, man, the cold air just pours in through the windows and I love it. But no matter how much I love this, the important thing to understand is when we start seeing this happening, and maybe when you start seeing it happen in your neck of the woods, you know that the end of the growing season is growing near. And being up here, up north, of course, we get a precursor compared to the rest of the country by a good month or two, at least. So when it starts turning cold here, you may still see 80, 90 degree weather down in Texas, for example. But it's just a matter of time in Texas before the growing season starts coming to an end. So with that, I want to go ahead and show you an article. This article actually came out of New York, and I'm pretty sure it's the Hudson Valley. And it says right here, will there be a pumpkin shortage this October? And I will tell you the answer is yes, of course there will be. And it's not just about, they said right here, planning on carving a jack-o'-lantern. I'm not talking about simply just doing things like that. I'm talking about actually having pumpkin or any fall produce that's going to be used for canning, for storage, etc. It talks about as far as any type of problems this year. Experts are predicting a lackluster crop this year due to drought conditions. Yep, been really dry. And right now it seems most likely a lot of pumpkins coming around. Your local pumpkin patch may not have as many choices this year. Okay, so obviously we're not completely out of pumpkin, but it is going to cause some shortages. It is going to cause some price increases, but this is not about pumpkin specifically. And again, don't think about jack-o'-lanterns. Think about the pumpkin, the things we use it for, not even just pumpkin pie and pumpkin seeds, also really good stuff. It even talks about also dry conditions are causing apple problems as well. And it says right here, smaller than usual fruit. Our apples are actually doing pretty decent here. We're having lots of water up here in Michigan, but I know the rest of the country is certainly not seeing the same thing. So we're seeing a problem, not just in pumpkin, not just in apple, but we're talking about a problem when it comes to fall produce. And that's the important thing we want to get out to you. That's what I want you to understand, because the fall produce is, harvest time, bringing a lot of these things really sets up a lot of winter food stores. And if a lot of these things are not coming like they're supposed to, if we're getting like a quarter of the crop, then again, we're going to be looking at shortages. We're going to be looking at even more price increases in combination to all the other problems we're seeing, including gas prices too, which are expected to really go up and up and up. So we talked about before, we possibly may be heading for a perfect storm, as far as problems coming this fall, this winter, and especially into next year. So right now, don't take this time that you've been saying, oh, look, we have plenty of apples. Look, we already have pumpkin in the grocery store. If you want a store, we have pumpkin. We have plenty of fill in the blank. Don't take that as an, oh, good, I can sit back and relax. Don't be idle. You now need to take this opportunity before this stuff starts disappearing off the shelves to start stockpiling and preparing and preserve whatever preserving you like. Maybe you like to can, dehydrate. Maybe you have a smoker. Those are fun. Freeze dryer, whatever the case may be. You need to be proactive. And like Ashley and I say, we love to set goals. We've said that before on the channel. Setting goals is so important. And let's say you actually want to get into a habit of preserving, because it takes a while. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of time to preserve stuff. Of course it does. So let's say you want to can every single day. Maybe canning is your thing. So set a goal that you want to do canning 6 days a week. Sounds good. Now, if you don't make it 6 days a week, that's okay, because you're trying to shoot for the goal. But the problem is you're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you don't even plan on canning at all, you know you're not going to get any canning done this week. So shoot for 6. If you end up with 4, mission accomplished. At least you got some done. But the point is, do not sit idly by and think that this is all going to come into this fall and winter and everything's going to be fine. Europe doesn't have enough fuel oil to survive this winter. And you may think, well, that's Europe, and that's maybe affecting our gas prices, which it will. But no, you have to understand that when we talk about major problems with fuel supplies, with food, we're talking about riots, civil unrest, and war. Look back at pre-World War II in the depression, the famine that took place leading up to that. It could be devastating. In fact, if it happens this way, like I think it will be devastating. So again, just don't sit idly by. So make sure you get onto it and get preserving, do whatever you need to, because I'm sure as the weeks progress, we're going to see far more shortages than simply just pumpkin and apples. Okay, get canning, get preserving, get freeze drying, whatever you do. Don't sit idly by because time is definitely short.